Welcome back everyone. Do you find yourself sometimes in situations where you can't resist the temptation, even though you know you should not give in? We may say, just this one time. And in this moment, self-control leaves us and we give in. Becoming better at delaying gratification, also often referred to as deferred gratification, can help us to resist giving in to temptations we don't really want. Before looking into the concept of delayed gratification, let's look at its counterpart, instant gratification. Instant gratification is when we choose an immediate reward. In contrast, delayed gratification is when we delay the immediate reward in order or in favor of a potentially bigger future reward. To delay our gratification requires self-control, willpower, and the ability to prioritize, as said before, the potentially bigger reward in the future in favor over the short-term one. Later in this video, when we will look at practical examples, we will see why in many cases instant gratification or immediate gratification is inferior to delaying our gratification. There's one famous experiment to show this concept, called the Marshmallow experiment, done by psychologist Walter Mischel. In summary, children had the choice between one marshmallow now or two in 15 minutes. After that, the children were tracked over the next 40 years to see how children with instant or delayed gratification are doing in life. Children who delayed gratification and took 2 marshmallows after 15 minutes tended to be academically more successful, have better grades, lower substance abuse, etc. In a later chapter, we will see that this experiment got some justified criticism. Still, I hope the core concept of delayed gratification is clear. Let's have a look at some words by Shane Parrish, who combines delayed gratification with the mental model of second-order thinking. People who arbitrage time will almost always outperform. The first-order thought of instant gratification is a crowded path, ensuring mediocre results at best. Delayed gratification, which requires second-order thinking, is less crowded and more likely to get results. By Shane Parrish. Time is a resource and we can make it work for us. What is required is second-order thinking, to think further than the immediate gratification. About the topic of second-order thinking, I made a previous video. When you're interested in that topic, feel free to check it out. Let's have a look at some practical examples where we can see the benefits of delaying our gratification. A classical example is to save money instead of spending it now on consumption. By saving it, we could consume in the future a bigger reward or just use it to be more financially safe. Instead of eating junk food now or skipping a workout now, in both cases instant gratification, we can choose to eat a healthy meal and to do that workout, even if somewhat painful, for our future health. Building this YouTube channel, Invisible Compass, is a form of delayed gratification. I get for this at the moment basically nothing, except the commentaries and subscriptions from you, for which I'm really thankful. This is a case where there is no real instant reward, except maybe that I could do something else with my time. The following are some ways which help me personally to delay my gratification. Certainly, there are many more ways out there. I will only talk about those ways which are used by myself and which had a positive and practical impact on my life. We need to have some goals and vision for ourselves. Why should we otherwise delay anything? This doesn't have to be a grand vision. I assume everyone wants to stay healthy and financially more or less secure, like in the examples. Even if those are unconscious goals, it works. Focus on the process. Let's take a scientist who has been experimenting for decades without success, without any rewards. It is extremely difficult to stay motivated and not give up. To cope, we can focus on the process while keeping our eyes on the goal. When we like the process, that's motivating and keeps us delaying. Being aware of our impulses. Before we can change something, we have to be aware of it. Without awareness, our instant gratification impulses are in the fog. With awareness, we can see them more clearly and use willpower to turn them down. Good sleep, a fit body and a calm mind help a lot. When tired, stressed, annoyed, etc., it is much more difficult to be aware, and even if we are aware, it is more difficult to stay in self-control. Avoiding triggers in the first place. We are humans. We have emotions and are not always behaving rationally. In those cases, it is best to not be triggered in the first place. Not buying bad food in the first place. In general, avoid triggers as best as possible. And now I'm really interested in what helps you to not giving into temptations. What helps you to focus on your long-term goals, to delay gratification. Maybe you have some ways or strategies. If you have, please let it know me in the comments. I would really appreciate it. You may have noticed that I talked about future rewards, or in general delayed gratification, as probable or possible, but not as certain. And exactly here lies the criticism, or better to say the words of caution, in regard to the marshmallow experiment. In the experiment, the future reward is presented to us as certain. The children will always get the 2 marshmallows. But our life or our future is not certain at all. Let's consider here some words by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. The idea that delayed gratification confers some socioeconomic advantage to those who defer was eventually debunked. The real world is a bit different. Under uncertainty, you must consider taking what you can now, since a person offering you $2 in 1 year versus 1 today might be bankrupt then, or serving a jail sentence. By Nassim Nicholas Taleb. With Nassim Taleb's words in mind, regarding the uncertainty of the future, let's look at the previous example of saving. Sure, saving is good, and I'm by myself a really big fan of saving. But it can be that our bank, for example, goes bankrupt, or even a little bit more drastically, that our whole country goes bankrupt. Unlikely scenario for sure, but it's possible. I just want to show that there is no guarantee in life. There's no guarantee of our future. That's why sometimes delaying gratification is not like in an lab experiment where there are certain outcomes. Life or our future is just not certain. Delaying gratification means also taking much more hidden risks. By Nassim Nicholas Taleb. This quote is strongly connected to his quote before. And it makes sense because what we have now has basically no future risks. But when we delay something in time, when we delay something into the future, it has more hidden risks by definition, because we can't predict the future itself. There are countless instant temptations out there. In many cases, by delaying the reward with the help of time, we can achieve something bigger and better. Still, it's not black or white. We have to use our own judgment when delaying gratification is a better option, and when the risk of losing our future rewards is too high. In my opinion, delaying gratification can be in many cases useful, especially when the other option, the instant gratification option, is mere consumption with no long-term benefits. And now, before this video ends, I want to give a short tribute to Mr. Charlie Munger, who died some days ago at the age of 99. He was a hero and teacher, and of course much more than this, for a lot of people, including me. Your wit and wisdom will be missed. Rest in peace. And our last quote by him, which covers partly his life philosophy, including the topic of delayed gratification. Obviously, if you're glued together and honorable and get up every morning and keep learning every day, and you are willing to go in for a lot of deferred gratification all your life, you are going to succeed. By Charlie Munger. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you could get some value out of it. And as always, I wish you a fantastic day.